Sure, you can always shop around for flooring, but in the end, it all leads back to the one place you probably should have started, the experts at Carpet One. Save yourself the time and the hassle and let Carpet One help you find the right product at the right price, beautifully installed, guaranteed. Come see the One, Carpet One, on the Business Loop in Columbia.
Good morning and welcome to Radio Friends on Friday, February 26th. Our guest right now is the first Poet Laureate of the state of Missouri, Walter Bargen. And it's always a pleasure to have you here, Walter Bargen.
Well, I hope so.
Yeah. Now, here's a guy, a really good guy, preoccupied with snakes. Somehow or another, snakes come into your life all the time, don't they?
Not in the middle of the winter, generally. But
you've had snake experiences for many, many years.
Ever since I moved out to the country, which has been about 45 years,
yeah.
You know, you live out in the country, you're kind of squeezing yourself in amongst all these other animals' homes.
Right.
And you can't help but run into them.
Now, last time you were on, you told the story about how you caught a rattlesnake.
Yes.
You've written several poems about snakes, correct?
Over the years, I have, yes.
And you have one today that you're going to share with us.
Yes, I thought I would tell this story first, though, as a kind of introduction to this particular poem. Maybe about 30 years ago, I was writing construction specifications, one of my many odd jobs that I had over the years, and I worked in an office with architects and engineers.
This was before you were Poet Laureate.
Oh yes, at least 30 years ago.
Okay.
And we decided to have a birthday party for the head architect, and it was a surprise birthday party. And there were maybe 60 people in this office. And it was a kind of large room, and we got all 60 people in there. There was a table at the front of the room. Brought the architect in. He's coming in thinking he's going to give some type of presentation on who knows what, I don't remember. And everyone sits down. We had hired a belly dancer. And unbeknownst to us, the belly dancer came in with a 6 to 8 foot long python.
Oh my!
Wrapped around her waist and hanging over her shoulders.
Okay.
The music starts playing. She's got this gossamer dress on with sequins and everything. You know, it's a spectacular performance. And out of nowhere, this woman in the back lets out this blood-curdling scream. I swear she went airborne, that she left the ground, and then she goes running out of the room. Of course, I go following her, and a couple of other people go following her. She runs down the hall, throws herself on the couch at the end of the hall, and spends 5 minutes hyperventilating.
Because she saw that snake.
Because she saw that snake. And my question is, where does that kind of fear come from? Is that learned? Is that something that you watch too many movies with snakes in it? Or is it something that we've evolved because we evolved in nature with snakes, and snakes were often a danger? I don't know. So with that in mind, I thought I would read this poem called Chinese Boxes. And when you think of these Chinese boxes, think of nesting dolls.
Okay.
You know, one and another and another. And if you've been to a museum, you've probably seen some ancient Chinese lacquered boxes where they just repeat each other down smaller and smaller.
Yeah. Okay, so here is Walter Bargen with his poem about a snake. Take it, Walter.
This takes place on the MKT Trail. Actually, it takes place off of the MKT Trail. But I'm walking on it. It's west of Forum, and I hear something. Chinese boxes. Once I heard the high-pitched squeals of distress coming from an embankment at the upper end of a city lake. I stepped through the high grass until seeing the shine of coiled black scales. I couldn't see its head and used my foot to nudge until it turned out of its own entangling, jaw unhinged, and stared back, hardly concerned with the intrusion, its neck continuing to convulse and ripple, a slow drawing down of fur into its mouth. A few feet away, the nest entrance was littered with torn bedding, hair and straw, and one small rabbit stared out as if not understanding, or frozen to fear, or knowing there was no place else, or what was the use. The interminable list any of us repeats after a long day. And what could something so young do but run into another mouth? I didn't chase it off, and I stood by as the snake worked at swallowing what seemed impossible, a body 4 times wider than itself, and it too paused as if to doubt. Straightening its body, slow undulations began, a pumping up and down, a writhing, until only the long-eared head was left, protruding from the snake's lipless mouth, head within head, like lacquered Chinese boxes, each opened lid leading to a smaller identical one, hinting of an endless diminishing. Then one box opens its eyes and screams.
Boy, did you paint a picture there. You painted a picture with words. I could see it all. And this actually...
Yes, this was just right off the MKT Trail, maybe about half a mile west of the Forum entrance to the MKT Trail. Mm-hmm. It was a summer day, and I never realized that rabbits could let out such a high-pitched squealing scream. So I'm thinking maybe this is why there's so deeply ingrained in us this fear of snakes. I myself, I think, have learned to overcome that fear.
Obviously you have.
Hence catching a rattlesnake and not feeling like I've done very much. Except a little worried when I drive it to the wildlife refuge in a plastic bucket, but yeah.
Okay.
Okay, but so I'm done with snakes now, Paul.
All right, so the next time you come back as our first poet laureate, the topic will be something different than snakes. Walter, it's always a pleasure to have you here. Oh, how long ago did you write that poem?
Let's see. That probably I wrote that probably around 1984.
Okay. So that poor rabbit. That's been gone quite a while. Walter Bargen, thank you so much. Your books are available.
Yellow Dog books. There are some on the internet. There's some at Barnes & Noble.
Okay, we got it. Walter Bargen, our first poet laureate. Pleasure having you here. Monday, Joy Sweeney, Council for Drug-Free Youth. Our program directed by Travis McMillen, Reynolds Journalism Institute. Audio, Pat Akers, KBIA. Our floor director, Ariel Sierra. And our assistant producer and guest coordinator, Uncle James Mouse.